Yesterday, we told you of the news from North and South Korea, where a shell from North Korea was fired at a South Korean so called propaganda loudspeaker. The South Korean military retaliated with rounds. It followed, or rather, it was followed by planning and meetings, and we just didn't really know what would happen next. Well, since then, we've learned that North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un has ordered military generals to ready for a state of war around 5 p.m. local time Friday, according to two different news reports. The North Korean leader said about around that time that preparations for war were complete and that they are in a quasi state of war, Lewis. Are you now thinking this may be something, or are you thinking that this will likely be nothing?
Come on. Kim Jong-un has done this like a dozen times
Yeah.
in the past like 5 years. So uh, I'm not entirely sure that this is the real thing. He just likes to puff his chest, you know?
What we do know is that according to a South Korean news agency named Yonhap, satellite imagery has shown that North Korea has moved satellites, missiles rather, in preparation for possible launches. The South Korean Defense Ministry did not confirm those claims. This whole loudspeaker thing actually dates back to the early 1990s, where both sides used loudspeakers to broadcast to the other side, and they agreed to stop using them in 2004. And there was about a 10-year period of silence until recently when South Korea started it up again with transmitting propaganda to the North. And as we mentioned yesterday, North Korea says if the loudspeaker propaganda doesn't stop within 48 hours, there will be more significant, I guess, than one shell military action. South Korea, on its part, has warned that any action will be cause for strong retaliation. I'm actually curious, Lewis. Let's, for a second, assume this is going to be a real thing. What about China? Would China decide logically that it would be really bad to have war near their border and try to get involved and, who knows, activate sleeper cells that may be in place to take out North Korean leadership? I mean, now we're starting to speculate, but the I don't know exactly how it would happen. But the question being, would China get involved, realizing that this is a really bad thing?
I think that China would probably only get involved if they thought that this was somehow going to spill onto their soil, or perhaps they are afraid of nuclear detonations. So I think China would probably stay out of it if things were to get real ugly.
And as Lewis said just a minute ago, North Korea has done this in the past. It often coincides with when the country is experiencing a particular need for foreign aid. March earlier this year, April of 2013, many, many times. You still, though, have to consider, Lewis, that they have nuclear weapons. And one of these days, maybe it won't be a bluff for foreign aid anymore. And then what happens?
Yeah, and then, well, I've said it before, and I'll stand by it. I think that that day is the best possible outcome for the people of North Korea, because the only way they are going to be liberated and helped is if their leader starts a war.